I never thought I would be able to sleep this well, so I can honestly say this routine has changed my life. For years of my life, sleep was negotiable. I would constantly negotiate sleep away to stay up playing video games or watch TV. In college, I would exchange sleep for all kinds of things. In some cases, it would be going out with friends, and in others, I would trade a night of sleep for a night of work. If you've been on the internet in the past year, you've probably heard of Dr. Andrew Huberman and Bryan Johnson. Both of these men stress the importance of getting good sleep.
Sleep is the foundation of mental health, physical health, and performance of all kinds.
Sleep is my number one priority in life.
This convinced me that it was time to take my sleep more seriously. For a few months, I've been implementing elements of Dr. Huberman's sleep routine into my life. My sleep is measurably better and more consistent than it has been in the past, and I can feel the difference. In this video, we'll cover many of the things I'm doing and a few of the things I'm intentionally avoiding to get better sleep. Let's dive in. Somewhat ironically, my sleep routine begins first thing in the morning. Right after I wake up, I try to avoid looking at my phone and I go straight to my home office where I have this light. Right away, I try to get exposure to a bright light for at least 5 minutes. I will often weigh myself and brush my teeth while I do this, but this is the first thing I do every day. If you've listened to Dr. Huberman talk about light exposure, then you know that he recommends viewing sunlight as opposed to artificial light. I consider myself a morning person, so when I wake up at 5:30 a.m., it's still dark. Sunlight would be better than artificial light. However, according to Dr. Huberman, with exposure to bright artificial light, you can achieve similar results to early morning sunlight exposure. There are a few reasons to get exposure to bright light first thing in the morning. According to Dr. Huberman, early morning light exposure causes a roughly 50% increase in circulating cortisol, epinephrine, and dopamine. These leverage healthy increases in energy, immune system function, and mood. By getting exposure to bright light right away, you are instructing your body to start its wake cycle. Light acts as an environmental cue, and your body responds by becoming more alert and awake. Viewing bright light is also a natural way to tell your body to stop secreting melatonin. Now, I do a few other things in the morning that set me up for a good night's sleep, but that exposure to bright light is by far the most important. About an hour and a half before I go to bed, I begin to avoid bright lights. I also begin to dim my environment using the blinds and curtains in my house. By avoiding bright lights and dimming your environment, you trigger the beginning of your sleep cycle. Your body begins to produce a hormone called melatonin. In addition to closing all blinds and curtains, I also try to avoid looking at my phone and TV. If I need to use a light, I will try to use a dim table lamp like the ones behind me instead of a brighter overhead light. It's currently the middle of the summer here in the US, so the sun doesn't set until almost 9 p.m. where I am. Because of this, I installed floor-to-ceiling blackout curtains in my bedroom. I tend to go to bed fairly early, so having the room blacked out makes it much easier to fall asleep. Blue light blockers. Now, blue light blockers are not necessarily part of Dr. Huberman's sleep routine. It doesn't seem like he's against them, though. It's well known that blue light can block the secretion of melatonin. According to the National Institute of Health, out of the 24 publications focusing on sleep, there is substantial evidence for blue light blocking glasses being a successful intervention for reducing sleep onset latency in patients with sleep disorders, jet lag, or variable shift work schedules. In English, that means if you have a difficult time falling asleep, blue light blockers could help. I recently started wearing these before going to bed, and I'm convinced that they help me sleep better. 60 to 30 minutes before going to bed, I take 2 supplements. And these are both part of Dr. Huberman's sleep stack. By sleep stack, I mean the stack of supplements that he takes before going to bed. These supplements are Magnesium Threonate and Apigenin. Something to note, Huberman does not advocate for the use of supplements for everybody.
I always say behavioral tools first, then look to nutrition, then, if necessary, look to supplementation.
Eventually, I plan to experiment with some of the other supplements on Andrew Huberman's sleep stack, but I'm happy with the results I've achieved with these for now. Since I started taking these, I've noticed a significant increase in my restorative sleep. Here's a screenshot from a week where I was not on the sleep stack. As you can see, my average time spent in restorative sleep was 3 hours and 5 minutes. Here's a screenshot from a week when I was on the sleep stack. The average amount of time I spent in restorative sleep was 4 hours and 14 minutes. There's also evidence that magnesium threonate supports cognitive ability. If you'd like to learn more, I'll leave a link in the description. For me, reading is a really good way to wind down and take my mind off the day. It also makes me really sleepy. I find this a great alternative to scrolling on social media or watching TV. I do not believe that reading before bed is part of Andrew Huberman's routine. However, Dr. Matthew Walker, the author of Why We Sleep, is very much in favor of reading before you go to bed. To me, it's important to disconnect from the events of the day. I've also really been enjoying finishing a lot of the books I've purchased over the years. We've gone over a bunch of the things that I do to sleep better. Here are a few things that I intentionally avoid. There is a widespread myth that drinking alcohol before bed helps you sleep better. From everything I've read, this is simply not true. Alcohol is a depressant, meaning that it slows down brain function and neural activity. After drinking alcohol, you may find that you fall asleep faster, but this does not mean that you're going to sleep better. As a depressant, alcohol has sedative effects. These sedative effects include feelings of relaxation and sleepiness. Alcohol greatly reduces the amount of time that you spend in REM sleep, which is part of your restorative sleep. It also has other negative side effects like reducing your HRV. If you want to learn more about HRV, make sure to check this video out. For the past several weeks, I haven't consumed any caffeine. I've been running an experiment to see how caffeine or the lack of caffeine impacts me. If you'd like to see what I learned, make sure to subscribe. Eventually, I plan to start drinking caffeine again, but when I do, I will never drink it in the afternoon. Here's why. Caffeine can cause symptoms of insomnia. Caffeine can also greatly reduce the amount of time that you spend in deep sleep or slow wave sleep. Like REM, deep sleep or slow wave sleep is part of your restorative sleep, and you need restorative sleep to feel fresh and awake and to perform at your best. Melatonin. I put this one last because it's somewhat controversial. For a few years, I took melatonin off and on. About a month ago, I was taking melatonin every night. I decided to stop for a few reasons. I noticed the quality of sleep I was getting wasn't great. Some nights I would sleep amazing, other nights I would have these crazy, vivid dreams that were somewhat stressful. I noticed that I would have much more memorable and vivid dreams after taking melatonin. Melatonin is a hormone that your body naturally produces. There are some scientists that think that long-term use could impact your testosterone and estrogen levels. There are not great studies out yet on the long-term use of melatonin. This is not meant to criticize anybody that takes melatonin on a regular basis. By measuring my sleep and experimenting, I found that melatonin is not the best sleep supplement for me. There are tons of people that use melatonin and get great sleep with it, so I'd encourage you to read up and find what works best for you. Here's a look at my sleep scores measured by the Whoop 4.0 from a week on this sleep routine. 98%. For reference, here's a look at a week before I implemented any of this. 85%. Life is truly better with a high sleep score. I have more mental clarity, I can focus longer. Life just feels good when you have a good night's sleep behind you. If you want to see what I learned from tracking my sleep for 30 days a few months ago, make sure to check this video out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.